focusing on the order of the outcomes, right? That's the first thing that'll stunt your growth a lot. In other words, you're focusing on the number of sales, the order of the sales, right? To be successful in this business, we have to be focused on the habits. Smooth is fast. If you're just smoothly going through every step of the process, your trainer is going to be able to just serve you more effectively. Like it'll actually be faster if you don't skip those steps. Guys, we've invested significant money on this technology called Rilla, Rilla. It'll record your presentation, and we'll have an experienced producer, Naomi, kind of see where the gaps are in your sales conversation. Guys, your closing percentage is going to go up. All right, everybody, good morning. Good morning. This is Pedro Vega. Welcome to our Cardinal Senior Benefits Morning Pursuit Call. Here at Cardinal, we promote peace of mind, we begin again, and we pursue excellence. We do that a bunch of different ways, mainly by controlling what we can control with our effort and by being intentional with our attitude. We do our best to choose and cultivate a positive attitude of service and perspective, right? We know that the clarity of our vision determines our level of motivation. So we try to have a good vision, right? A crystallized vision for the life that we're building. And we're doing it together. So guys, thanks for being with me this morning. I know it's not the typical host you're waiting for. Miss Quinn Roberts is helping me out tomorrow. We did a little flip-flop for the day. So you have to get his awesome introduction on Thursday this week. Also, just want to have a little plug. Miss looks like Gianna Dyke is going to be with Quentin tomorrow morning, so that should be a great time. So if you want to tune in on that, that would be awesome. So today I'm going to have Mr. Mickelson, Travis Mickelson, is going to be with us here in a bit. But before I do that, I want to give you guys a little bit of some updates with all the transitions going on with the Automated Impact Program. We pretty much have had conversations, I think, with everyone at this point. We're making some changes that we're pretty excited about. I know it's going to be different, but people have a lot more upside than they did before. We have some skin in the game all the way up and down. You know, the gift cards, we're going to be leveraging those way better. We've been talking about that the last couple of weeks, but last week or so. But the full transition, the change is going to go live the week of the 23rd. So the week of Monday, the 23rd, that'll be that first week where the gift cards will be out of the agent's pocket. Okay. So I want to make sure that's on your radar. I've pretty much shared that one-on-one with everyone that I've spoken with, but something else that we're going to be doing, if you did choose some of the higher commission levels, whether the 80, the 95 or 110% commission, we are still going to give you guys 50 free leads for 4 weeks starting on that Monday. Okay. So that's just going to be to just help with the transition, to help everyone land firm-footed, and just to help out. So we should have already made all those commission increase requests in the last day or so. You know, there's maybe a couple stragglers that haven't been done yet. Look, guys, some carriers, they're going to do it quick, you know, within a week. You know, some take 2 weeks, some take a little bit longer. Okay. Now, insurance companies, their back office stuff sometimes just not the best. So if I were you, I would put a reminder in your calendar. If this is if you're one of the people that this is affecting, I would put a reminder maybe on the Wednesday or Thursday, starting the week of the 23rd. So maybe like the 25th or the 26th. I would do a reminder for a couple weeks after to check with the companies on your commission increases. Okay. I talk about, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Look, you are the one that has the incentive for that commission to be higher. So that's going to be on you. Okay. Like, we are making the request, but sometimes things happen. You know, the carriers just don't get it done. And in the past, sometimes agents are like, hey, I thought, you know, my commission is supposed to be higher. You know, it's been 2 months now, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. Okay. Like, we're not going to go back and, you know, pay a difference in commissions or calculate things like that. It's honestly just not worth our time to do that. So you have the incentive to get that higher commission. So make sure you are in the details with your business. So I would set a reminder in your calendar, maybe the Wednesday or Thursday that week for a couple weeks after, to make sure that that gets done. Okay, so topic for today, get to hang out with my great friend, Mr. Travis Mickelson. But the topic for the day is, what are 3 things that are stunting your profitability and growth? Okay, so 3 things that are stunting your growth in this business: profitability, or even just your development. So, Mr. Mickelson, good morning. Good morning, sir. Can you hear us? You want to,
Yeah, there we go.
there we are. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to start off with, I'm going to list them off and we're going to end up with our topic for the day. First one is, focusing on the order of the outcomes, right? That's the first thing that'll stunt your growth a lot. In other words, you're focusing on the number of sales, the order of the sales, right? To be successful in this business, we have to be focused on the habits, right? The structure that's going to give you the reps, the structure that's going to give you the failure to learn what you got to learn in this business. So that's the first thing. The second thing that's going to, start your growth in this business is not memorizing or using a structured presentation. Okay. The best sales talk is the one that we use consistently, right? Every single time. A lot of our top agents, they're the new, top agents, when they were new, they literally were reading off the script in the beginning, but they have a good foundation for what to say efficiently. So having a good sales talk, a consistent sales talk, that'll save you a ton of time in your development. And then the third item, and that's what we're going to really dig into today, is not being intentional with understanding underwriting, right? We're final expense professionals. And, being a broker, we get to work with a bunch of different companies. So luckily at Cardinal, you have a trainer. You got somebody that you can call in every single presentation. We're really a one teaches one type of operation. And that's great. I mean, it's awesome to have a person that you can call. But if you're not taking the time to really understand, kind of the after action report, like why they recommended the company they recommended, you're just going to kind of stay stuck. You're not going to really start getting to the next level. So anyways, man, I want to give you the floor. We can dig in. I know we're going to talk about a bunch of different things, but Travis Mickelson, the third agent at Cardinal. So he's been here from the very, very beginning. Very grateful for him. And he just cracked the $1 million mark in personal production. So congrats on that too, man. So yeah, man, I'll let you take it away and we can dig in from there.
So you want to start off with the underwriting? Is that where we kind of want to spend our time today?
Yes, let's do the underwriting. And what you've noticed just from the field, Travis trained a bunch of people. Nathan Alberts works with Travis. Anthony Price works with Travis. Eric Nicholson. So he's just definitely been one of our best trainers we have, and he's doing a great job.
So I guess the main thing that I noticed in underwriting when folks are sending me these pictures and talking through them while folks are in presentation, the thing I encourage a lot that is when you're doing that actual underwriting worksheet, okay, kind of what Pedro said, if you have to read the presentation, please go through all steps of the presentation and then move yourself into that transitional phrase after you go through. Here's what we try to get people approved for. We go through those guarantees of whole life, covers you forever, never goes up in price, state tax free, so on and so forth. And then I'm transitioning into the cool. So I'll just go through those handful of health questions, see what prescriptions you're taking. And then from that, I can contact our underwriters and see what is going to be the best option that you should be able to get approved for. Okay. Now, then you're going to transition to that underwriting worksheet, guys. And a couple things I noticed, especially with brand new folks, is that every little question, the reason that they're on there kind of in order is because every question can affect anywhere from 1 to 8 carriers, right? Starting with the right at the beginning when folks are getting great, cool. So how do you get your Social Security? Do you have a direct deposit into the bank, or do you have that little green Direct Express card? And guys, I would say 50% of the underwriting worksheets I get don't have that marked. And the reason that's so important is if you've got Direct Express circled, I know right then and there we've got 3 options. Right. And I know not everybody has Gerber, but that's an option too. But our 3 main options are going to be Transamerica, Sika, or Corebridge. Now, if we go through all the underwriting, right, all the health questions, we find out hospitalizations, we look at all the prescriptions, and we come to the conclusion that, hey, actually, based on this, Royal Neighbors is going to be your best option. You go through the whole app, which can be a 30-minute application sometimes. You get to the payment, and then you discover it's a Direct Express card. You can just throw that option out the window. You just wasted 30 minutes of your time, and it's likely that now what you're going to quote them is going to be more expensive. Okay, so just that one question alone, guys, it makes a big impact on where we're going to pivot and where we're going to go with underwriting. And then I do encourage y'all when you're doing that underwriting to get as detailed as you can, because I'll also get underwriting worksheets where some of the answers, yes or no, are circled. Some of them aren't. Hospitalizations will be circled. It'll just, okay. How long ago was it? Was it more than once? What was it for? The primary things though are how long ago was it and how many times, right? Because those are specific questions on health questions. And then even as you go down that underwriting worksheet, guys, does the applicant has diabetes? Yes. If that's all you put, I have 3 more questions for you. When were they diagnosed with diabetes? Do they take insulin? Okay, what age was insulin started? And it's all right there for you, y'all. You just all you have to do is just go through that list, and you don't skip anything. Insulin, for example, the American Amicable app asks, has the applicant started insulin prior to the age of 50? Mutual of Omaha is 45. Well, like all this stuff, we can kind of go through this funnel and cross carriers out until we get to the best 3 or 4 that they're able to get approved for, and then go from there. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, and maybe we think about, okay, what is the inclination or the urge to skip those things? And it might be that you're like, oh, I think I'm going to lose the sale if I take too long here. Yeah, maybe you're just thinking about, I want to be fast, but it might be better just think about that. Smooth is fast. If you're just smoothly going through every step of the process, your trainer is going to be able to just serve you more effectively. Like it'll actually be faster if you don't skip those steps because, and then there's a couple layers there, right? Well, let's say you just skip a step and then you end up doing a 35-minute roll of neighbors application. Okay, so that's
Correct.
a lot slower, but even just the interaction when you call, like if you're saving an extra question or two, you can maintain that momentum in the sales conversation, because you got the information you need. And guys, we've seen 1,000 of those underwriting worksheets, so we can make a recommendation a lot faster. But you're also, again, if you're consistently doing that, you're consistently asking those questions, you're starting to kind of cultivate your underwriting brain, your underwriting muscle of why they're important. So I think that's, just on the front end, being super thorough on the underwriting worksheet. But maybe you want to talk about, in a perfect world, what would you like to see after the sale, to keep developing, with your underwriting expertise?
After the sale, as far as after action review type stuff, or what do you mean?
You have thoughts on that? Like, or maybe you've seen that some agents do a good job, like either one, actually completing the underwriting worksheet, taking your advice in the house, but then calling afterwards to understanding why. Actually, let me take a step back. Let's say you tell them, hey, go with this company. Okay, is that the time for them to be kind of arguing with you on what they think the best company should be in front of the client? Is that the best way to go?
Yeah, no. And I actually preface that in the field launch call that, hey guys, we have all these carriers available to us. Probably over half of them are niche carriers. Okay, for a myriad of reasons, right? Because my goal, not only is to get the client like a good product that is level, I also want you as the agent to get paid full commission. Guys, every single one of us, regardless of what commission level you're at, certain products pay us less. Okay. So if there's a $3 difference between Corebridge level, right, in Transamerica or American Amicable level, I'm not going to recommend Corebridge because I don't know exactly what it is, if it's 10, 15, or 20%, but we take a big haircut on that.
Sure.
And you have bills to pay. Some of you have kids. You're out there working. For a $3 savings, you shouldn't lose $300. And not only that, guys, but when I'm recommending carriers, I also like predictability.
Yep.
And so when, I encourage everybody to use that insurance toolkit as they're going through this because it will also help them learn underwriting faster. A prime example is if you go into medications and you type in something like gabapentin, it'll then have a little pop-up box that said, is this prescribed for pain, chronic pain, neuropathy, non-diabetic, diabetic neuropathy, seizures, restless leg? Okay, it's going to list 6 things there.
Yep.
And what it's prescribed for will determine what carrier will take it, right? So that's only going to help you on your journey to learn this, right? Because the goal really is, and I've got people that I take phone calls that are at all different levels of their underwriting.
Yep.
And some people, I'll get that underwriting worksheet and I go, oh man, there's a lot of details here. We have to make that phone call. And I've got a call and we have to talk through it. I have other agents like Eddie Gonzalez, for example. When he sends an underwriting worksheet, the dude just wants to know what carrier. He doesn't want to spend a bunch of time on the call. He's like, look, man, I'm comfortable with the presentation. I can close. He goes, but underwriting, sometimes this stuff just, it just gets me. And I'm like, I'm not sure. And I want confirmation. And that's all he wants. Cool. If that's what you want as the agent and you're being productive, we can rock with that. If you're an agent that wants to talk through it, especially when you're new, like I did a phone call with Kayla yesterday. And she does a great job sending underwriting worksheets, and she does a great job of communication and all that stuff. But it was kind of a complicated one. And so on that phone call, we're going through, here's why Seek is not going to work. Here's why Transamerica Express isn't going to work. And here's why you should attempt this carrier. Okay. So hopefully those conversations are going to just start to get in the back of your brain. Cause like, I think honestly, unless you're like a photogenic memory person, you're not going to be able to sit down and just read underwriting worksheets of prescription lists every night and memorize the 400 prescriptions they have on there. At least my mind doesn't work that way. I have to be in those situations of doing it over and over and over again and saying it out loud. That's when you start sitting down with people and they'll go, I think I'm on a Simstat, and you go, Simstat? Yeah, and something like Carvedilol. Okay, cool. Are you on furosemide too, like a water pill? Oh yeah, I think I'm on that too. Right. So you'll start to tell them their prescriptions, and multiple times a day or a week, you're going to get people go, whoa, you know a lot about this, don't you? So that raises your status and your view as a professional in their eyes. So that is the goal of all this underwriting help and the phone calls and the pictures and the underwriting worksheet. It is to help practice and ingrain this into your brain.
Absolutely. So to recap, guys, early on, fill out every little thing in that underwriting worksheet. Smooth is fast. Okay, we're actually learning in the process of being thorough with that, whether you believe it or not, and it'll help your trainer serve you faster. Okay. During the presentation is not the time to understand why you're recommending a carrier. Again, selling is a transfer of emotion and momentum, right? But we want to keep building that momentum the best we can during when we're in front of them. And also confidence, right? A confused prospect doesn't buy. So,
correct.
You don't want to be debating with your trainer on which company. Again, there's a reason you're calling them, all right? There's a time and a place for everything. So if they say, go with this company, you need to say, perfect. Okay. That's what I was thinking too. Okay. Take it till you make it.
Well, then let me give you a really good example, Pedro. If let's say you didn't call or send an underwriting worksheet and you did everything on the insurance toolkit, a lot of times Transamerica Immediate Solution will pop up as the lowest cost option. Okay. Now, if you scroll over that little red button that's right beside it, a big pop-up will show up to say, Transamerica, due to their comorbidity guidelines, it may or may not get approved, this and that and whatever. Okay. And I'm seeing something like, they listed carvedilol and they listed spironolactone or even isosorbide, and I've gotten clarification on why they're taking those, right? A lot of times, guys, I'm going to just go ahead and recommend American Amicable for some, because they are the one carrier that gives us the best opportunity to explain our underwriting and fight for them to get approved first day. Whereas you could, and I've experienced this. Like I got isosorbide approved like 3 weeks ago. Okay. The applicant explained why they had it. They thought it was given one time in a hospital as a precaution. Turns out they were not diagnosed with angina. I put all that in the agent remarks. American Amicable then goes through their 5-day underwriting, which stinks, right? But they verified that with MIB, issued as applied, right? So now they got that first day coverage they were expecting versus, and I like Transamerica, okay? This is the polar opposite of the first 6.5 years we did this. Everybody hated Transamerica. They have improved leaps and bounds. That being said, if in your head you're going right, but Transamerica is $9 cheaper, and then you submit it, you don't get an approval right away with Transamerica. You're going to get that email anywhere from 5 minutes to a couple hours later. And when it comes back graded, you're going, crap. Now I have to go back and tell this person, well, that didn't get approved. All of your other options are more expensive.
Yeah. And again,
Okay.
The
Right.
order is
right. And it's not flawless. Okay. It's not flawless because there's still going to be information that gets withheld from us. Okay. That's why, like, so this is important, guys. When I'm going through those, here are the guarantees of whole life. And I say another thing that people really appreciate about this is since we work with over 20 different carriers, our goal, like I go through, and you explain it to them beforehand, I go through a handful of health questions, take a look at whatever prescriptions you got or have taken, because my goal is to avoid those 2-year wait plans. And then I go, you know how you've seen the Colonial Penn, you've got Gerber in the mail, you've got Mutual Omaha in the mail, and you've heard of the 2-year wait, right? That is our last option. We want to try to get you approved for first day coverage. Does that make sense? Will that help you? Okay, great. Now I don't get pushback on the health questions. And on top of that, when I'm going through prescriptions, after they show me either their list or their bottles, I'm going, okay, is there anything else that maybe you've taken in the last 5 to 7 years that you don't take anymore? Is there anything they prescribed that you don't take? Has there ever been any memory medication, nitro pills, isosorbide, right? Because then you're spending even more time going down this rabbit hill of level coverage. And then ultimately you do American Amicable. And then at the very end, donepezil shows up. And you're like, good Lord, I've been here for an hour and a half. They could have answered 0 health questions, shown you no prescriptions. And the only thing they showed you was donepezil. It's for Alzheimer's or dementia. You now know, even if they haven't been diagnosed with it, like you're going to have to go guaranteed issue. I've never had, I've called carriers and I've never had anybody say, yeah, you can go ahead and run it with donepezil on their Milliman report. It's never happened. Maybe it's happened for somebody. It's never happened for me. Okay. So that's why like the prescriptions are important too. And we do our best to get all of that information. And don't beat yourself up because there's still going to be situations where they withhold this. They won't tell you.
Right. The sad part on donepezil, they literally don't remember, and that's why they're taking donepezil, like a dementia medication, like that happened.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, dude. No, this is great perspective. And just to be clear, guys, it's not that we don't want you to understand. Okay, it's the time and a place, right? In the house, you just say perfect. That's what I was thinking too. And you go with the play, right? You go with the plan. Because again, we are looking at multiple layers, like you said. Yes, shocker. I also know that this company could be less, a lower monthly payment, but there's things that you don't understand yet, about that situation. So you can just have that conversation once you get out of the house. Once you get out of the house, that's when you call. That's when we dig into. That's when you say, hey, why didn't you go with this company? I saw that it was, cheaper, right? Because we're just trying to increase the highest amount of probability of you putting them in a great situation with ideal momentum, right? And, after the fact, calling and understanding, guys, that can accelerate you so fast in understanding where everything is supposed to be. And writing out those prescription guys, I mean, writing them out every single time, I know it's kind of annoying and boring, but that's how you start learning the medications. You'll start picking up on the patterns quicker. And then before you know it, you'll start sending those underwriting worksheets and you'll start saying, I'm thinking I'm going to go with Aman. What do you think? Then that's
Yeah.
just kind of started happening, so I don't know, Travis, you got a couple more minutes. Any last thoughts on just things new agents get doing?
Yeah, and on those after action reviews, guys, with those, I have no problem doing them. What I do tell new agents in the field is on those, like text me first and be like, hey, do you have a minute to go over that? Because I'm not going to field a conversation if I'm in the middle of a presentation after the fact.
Mm.
I will take the phone call for underwriting. Like I will gladly interrupt my presentation. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, ma'am. I have a new person in the field and they've got a question. Do you mind if I take this quick? And I will field that phone call and help you through it. But if you call and I'm in the middle of a presentation and you go, hey, I just wanted to talk through that, I'm gonna go, I can't do that right now.
Sure.
Okay. So like just understand I'm still out here knocking on doors, still selling. I want to help, but let's just be efficient about it. And then when I'm out of my presentation, we can take a few minutes and walk through it. I have no problem doing that.
Absolutely. Well, we got to dig into that last one. Again, 3 different things that will stunt your growth as a life insurance final expense producer. And again, that's being focused on the sales, the order of the sales, not having a structured sales presentation. Guys, you can literally read off the script physically in the house in the beginning. If you do that consistently, you're gonna figure it out faster. And then again, the last one today is taking the time to understand underwriting.
Rilla.
We're gonna give you.
I just use Rilla. Like I explain it over and over to people. I'm like, get your Rilla set up, push it. Like Anthony Price grew like 120,000 in 1 year. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Maybe it helps. And he's got the most interactions, the most activity on Rilla of any agent, new or veteran. Okay. So yeah,
Travis, it's breaking up, man.
no, that
I'll land on one. Your service is breaking up, but yeah, that ties into our second point, right? Using a structured presentation, guys. We've invested significant money on this technology called Rilla, Rilla. It'll record your presentation, and we'll have an experienced producer, Naomi, kind of see where the gaps are in your sales conversation. Guys, your closing percentage is going to go up. Guys, it's a science. We know exactly what to say, when to say it, why to say it, and if you're not happy where your closing percentage is, just get that app downloaded, click record. We will tighten up your presentation and it'll lead to a lot more profitability for you. So, hey, we're at time. Mickelson, we'll stop there, dude. Thank you so much for your help.
Cool.
You have a good day.
sounds good, brother.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for being with us today. Remember, it takes all day to have a great day, all week to have a great week. Any given house can double or triple your week. It happens all the time, all the time. So might as well be you. Keep it simple. Remember, the answer's behind the next door. Action cures fear. No time's a good time. Right now is the best time. So just screw it. Just do it. Keep moving. All right, guys. You have a great day. God bless. Catch you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you very much.